At one stage, India were 226 for 8 with almost 5 overs to go, and you thought 230, 235 would be the total that Australia would be chasing. But from there on, India have added 38 runs in the last 5 overs, and mind you, with their tail-enders, though HARSHIT Rana would like to disagree with that, and because we're counting him as a tail-ender, because officially he is classified as an all-rounder, and probably today was the day where he did show that yes, he does have all-round capabilities. His 24 not out has propelled India to 264, which I think looks like a decent total in Australia. Of course, Adelaide overall has been known to be a ground where you can score a lot of runs. So many would have thought a little bit more, but the fact that you had a start where you lost your captain as well as your number one batter in Virat Kohli pretty early for India to have reached 264, they've given themselves a total to fight with. With me is Shane.
Yeah, I mean, this was a nerve-wracking watch, really, at least from the start, because early on, we know Adelaide, usually one of those tracks that can be batter-friendly. You've got a shorter square boundary as well, which batters do tend to like to target. So you're thinking, okay, good runs on offer. Early on, though, that pitch was doing something. Hazelwood in particular looked imperious. Some of those early spells, I think his first 2 overs were maidens, and both were played out by Rohit. The difference came, of course, in that Rohit could end up toughing out the part where it was being difficult, then ended up getting himself some runs. Because as the match progressed, I think as the sun kind of beat down, it was a pretty sunny day in Adelaide, the pitch did look to get much better. It was easing out a little bit. I think, though, that early phase has cost you about potentially 40 runs. Because your 2 early wickets, I think that's what's done you. And, of course, that little wobble lower order, I think you're looking at what's a decent total, considering what you were looking at. At one point, you look like you're probably not even getting 250. From there to get to 264, I'll take that. It's something for your bowlers to bowl at. That being said, confidence right now, I don't know if it's sky high.
264, firstly, can India make a match out of this?
Yes, if they get early wickets. But I think it will really depend on what the new ball does. Are we going to see the same level of assistance that the Aussie bowlers were getting? I doubt. I think that was early assistance, which is pretty much gone from the track. But yes, early wickets, stranger things have happened. 264 is not a bad total by any stretch, but they'll need to get early wickets. You don't get early wickets, and I think you're in for a short day.
Would India would have taken this once they were put into bat? Would they have taken? I'm not saying at one stage where they were, but starting out to bat, you've lost the toss. Would you take 264?
No, not in Adelaide. I'd say you'd need anything between, I think the way ODI batting is now, I think you'd be looking at 300 as a bare minimum. And we know Adelaide usually tends to be one of those grounds where you can, if you get settled in, you bat well, there's runs on offer. I think they would have been looking at anything over 300 being a bonus. So 264 is good in the context of the match, right? Because you were at one point looking like you might not even get those runs. There was a major wobble in the lower order. KL didn't get runs. Sundar dismissed cheap. Nitish Kumar Reddy didn't get anything much. 8 runs. I think from there you're happy with 264, but let's be honest, none of us were expecting a 30-odd run partnership from the 10th wicket coming from Arshdeep and HARSHIT. So I think that was valuable runs. Start of the match, though, if someone had told them, listen, you'll get 264, I don't think they'd have been happy with that.
So it's really interesting. I think, firstly, I'm just going to break this down as India's batting. I'd say that India getting to 264 in Adelaide, I think, is a good enough show by the Indian team. I think this is something that I'm not saying this is something that they'd be proud of, but I think this is something where it's par for the course. I guess if you see the last ODI that was played here, I keep referring to that was Pakistan versus Australia, where you had a scenario where Pakistan were dismissed for 163 all out Pakistan at that stage. Australia were all out for 163 and Pakistan really chased it down. What that tells me that this time of the year in November, even though this is Adelaide, even though it's a ground which is known to be batter friendly, it's not easy to bat on, especially in that first hour and a half. So knowing that fully well, that India lost the toss and were put into bat, knowing that fully well, I think once they lost the toss, they probably would have taken a 264. Again, because they knew that you had to survive that first hour and a half. From there on, again, I would even give India a chance of winning this game at the halfway stage, provided they were playing their best bowling lineup, which I don't think they are. No. If they had been playing a Kuldeep here who can turn the game. I know Arshdeep is that bowler. Siraj on a good day can do that. Who knows? Because of the kind of assistance that Bartlett was getting, even a Nitish Kumar Reddy could be tricky on a surface like this. Can pick you wickets. It could have made matters a bit tricky for Australia. Even now, even now it's sitting at this stage, I wouldn't completely rule India out. I know on the face of it, 264. Many might think, oh, this is clear-cut Australia's game. I wouldn't say that. I'd still put it at 60-40. So about a 40% chance of India winning it from here, provided one of their bowlers has a good day. So it's still a lot of runs to get. It's not something that is going to be easy. The only difference, and I would have put it at 50-50. The only difference, had Australia also gotten similar conditions in that first 1 hour that India got, which they're not going to get because pitch has, that juice would have been taken off. I would have put it at 50-50. The fact that India had to endure that tough 1 hour, which Australia will not have to endure, comparatively, it's not that the new ball won't do much. It'll still be, there to get you wickets. You could still have a few dismissals, but not that juicy conditions. So with that in mind, I'm making it 60-40. But if the conditions were completely even, juicy track, even for Australia, I would have made it 50-50. 60-40, I still think.
Yeah, I mean, see, if you know that you're getting that kind of assistance early on, then I back Arshdeep and Siraj to run through potential. And Siraj in particular just has that tendency. If he can get into that rhythm, ask Sri Lanka, only too well he can run through teams. I doubt he'll get the same conditions, and that's where really you perhaps needed your best bowlers. Now, I like Nitish Kumar Reddy, fan of HARSHIT Rana, probably one of the only ones in this country, but they're not your best bowling. And even as far as your spinners, you've got Washington and Akshar, they're part-time bowlers, in fact, more than part-time bowlers, but again, they're not people who I would expect to be giving you 10 overs every ODI. They're not. They're going to be balancing it out, so that means your best spinner in Kuldeep is on the bench, someone who could have turned the game in such conditions. It's a hard wicket. It's not a flat. He doesn't need conditions. He could have turned the game around. Other than that, yeah, I'm a little worried beyond that, because I do think the Aussie batting lineup is still good.
I said 60-40.
Yeah, I'll go with 60-40 as well. Okay. I think Australia are slight favourites.
Okay, a few questions now. Firstly, HARSHIT Rana. Was this a much needed knock considering the kind of trolling that he had to go through on social media?
110%, because one of the things which people keep talking about is that, they see batter potential in him, the team management that is, but where is that batter potential? Well, you finally saw that batter potential. 24 of 18, the batter with the best strike rate today out of all the batters. Sure, came at an unexpected time, but he was smacking someone like Zampa for boundaries. No mean feat considering how well Zampa was bowling today. Got a couple of key wickets, Adam Zampa. And we know he's a top-notch white ball bowler. He batted well. I think he needed this. Now if he can get you some decent, get a couple of early wickets, then you're seeing yes.
See, I'll be honest that I never had doubt over HARSHIT Rana's batting abilities. We've seen it on and off in the IPL as well. So you knew that he could bat. And I had no doubts over it. I know there were a lot of people who were raising fingers at him. I think that was also largely because of, some comments made about, his closeness to Gautam Gambhir. I think people looked at it like that, and that's why he was being targeted. So it doesn't surprise me. But I'll tell you what he showed today, I think the only change that I'll make in my mind when it comes to HARSHIT Rana's batting, I always thought he was a decent bat. But what I saw today was that, for me, he was always a big hitter, like someone who could use a long handle, get you some quick fire runs. I think what he showed today is a bit of maturity as well. He played some deft strokes as well, especially against Zampa, to cut him for boundaries. Now, those are shots of a proper batter. Yeah. So what I liked, and I think this is a revelation of sort, that he's not just a Tonka, he's not just somebody who's just going to whack it and who has the power to clear the ropes, which of course he does. But that's not how we should actually classify him or identify him as. I think he can be looked at as a decent all-rounder who can chip in. Maybe not as much as an Akshar Patel or a Nitish Kumar Reddy category. Who knows if he can get there. But I think he showed you glimpses that he can be a decent enough batter. And I think that is vindication for the team that has been reposing faith in HARSHIT Rana to continue with the team. In fact, he's playing ahead of a Prasidh Krishna, who I think probably is slightly a step or a couple of steps ahead of HARSHIT Rana when it just comes to purely bowling form. But I think this is what they were, hoping for from him. And he's given them that, these 24 runs. Who knows? If India go on to win this game, I think these 24 runs not out are going to be very crucial. So I think that also tells you why India may be going in with that. So that's what he's shown. But I think eventually he's going to be judged by his bowling, purely by his bowling. So he can chip in with these 20-odd runs, 30-odd runs, and it can excite us and make us happy. It can give us a different dimension when we look at him closely. But eventually, if he doesn't have good days with the ball, then I'm afraid that criticism will keep coming his way. So I think that is where he'll need to step up. We'll find out today if he can be that guy. If not the leader of the attack, because you've got a Siraj and to that extent also an Arshdeep, far more experience. But if he can be a good supporting role, then you can go in with this sort of a combination going forward. That's done about HARSHIT Rana. Let's go and talk about the elephant in the room.
Back-to-back ducks. First time ever in ODI cricket for Virat Kohli. It's never happened. And we talk about players doing firsts late in their career. Not the kind of firsts he'd have been wanting to get now. Not when still there is so many question marks looming over what the future holds for him. Can he still do it? It's very, very tricky.
What did you make of that gesture? I know it's trending on social media while he's walking off.
Yeah, two things. Bye-bye. Yeah, one, we know how special Adelaide is to him, right? Is that number of match-winning innings here, good hundreds. Test debut was here as well. So, there's plenty of memories attached. And see, there's two ways of looking at it. Personally, you can say that, this is him waving goodbye. Or it could be a retirement signal, which a lot of people are, in fact, talking about. I've went through socials. In fact, there's a video up on Sports Today as well. You guys can check that out. A lot of people speculating that this could be retirement. There's also a simple way of looking at it and saying that, look, are they touring Australia anytime soon after this? They're not. So this could very well just be his last ever game in Adelaide. Come what may. Let's assume he plays 2027.
What's your reading?
I don't think this is a goodbye. Not that kind of a goodbye. It's a farewell to Adelaide, not a farewell to cricket. Not yet. I say not yet because I think every single retirement of his has caught me off guard so far. So I'm leaving that little bit of wiggle room, but to me it seemed more like a thank you to the Adelaide crowd, who were pretty generous to him. There was no whistling, booing, the kind of thing you might expect from someone who's tormented teams here. They were very generous to him.
No, that's because he's also loved a lot in Australia. Yes. And I think the Australian crowd always appreciate, outstanding performers. I'd second that. To me as well, that wave that he did while going off, I know a lot of speculation is there on social media about him realizing that his time is done after two back-to-back ducks that have happened for the very first time in his career. But if you ask me, I think it was mostly him saying bye-bye to one of his favorite grounds, a ground where he's played some of the most outstanding knocks. So you spoke about that debut test 100, then do back-to-back hundreds, when he got the captaincy, the first time he got test captaincy there. So overall, it's been a happy hunting ground for him. And I agree that the fact that he is not going to be touring Australia again, because he's retired from test match cricket, you're not going to have any ODI series there now for the longest time. 2027, I'm sure in his head as well, is going to be his swan song if he makes it to the World Cup team. So in that sense, it was his final goodbye to Adelaide as a venue. I think that's what he did. It's not any goodbye to international cricket. I think he still has the appetite, or at least the desire, to play the 2027 World Cup. So not reading too much into it. Now to his knock and his performance.
See, this is where now the unfortunate reading starts, right? Because prior to this, what were people saying? We saw a lot of the memes, Sayyara tu badla nahi hai. Why? Because he was constantly getting out to balls on the 4th or 5th stump line. Today, it was a nipbacker. And it's not like he didn't read it, because if you see the shot, he went for a flick. So he's like, okay, the ball was coming. He read the line of the ball. That late little bit of movement, and it wasn't big movement, because I remember watching the ball and I'm like, did he get out to a straight ball? That would have really been something. Then I went back and saw the replay and I was like, oh, okay, there was a hint of movement. The Shane Watson kind of dismissal, which I remember, classic, he just bang it in, little bit movement, and that's that. See, it's very late, as Shivam is so kindly showing us on screen, but it's subtle and it's there. The fact that he's now being troubled by an in-swinging ball as well. If I'm looking for reasons to drop a player, hypothetically, I'm not, there's no speculation as to what's happening in the team management, but I mean, if I'm a fan as well, I'm concerned. I'm saying, oh man, I know he was getting troubled by that one which is going away or on the outside off line. Now this is one which is coming back in slightly and he's just not able to play it. Concerns. If there was slight concern last match, the notch has gone up a couple of levels.
So see, I don't want to now speculate after every knock. And failures are part and parcel of the game. You can have two ducks. Rohit Sharma, who got a 70 odd, had that, hat trick of ducks or whatever when he spoke to the umpire also.
Hey, Viru.
So again, and it's not that after that he stopped scoring runs, right? So the fact that two ducks don't signify much to me, but, and it's a big but, having said that. See, as I said, failures are part and parcel of the game. I don't read too much into it. But what I'm reading into Virat Kohli's two failures is that it is out of character. It is very unusual. Virat has gotten out previously as well. He may have had a slump here and there as well in different formats, in ODI as well. It's all happened to him in his long career. And he's always bounced back and been the best batter that there is. The only thing that I see different this time around to the previous occasions is that he's looked very unsure. He's looked very, that's again very out of character. He can be in a situation where he's not getting runs, but he'll always be that confident batter who comes out, who knows what he's doing, and okay, good ball here or there, or misread the line here or there, or, got a bit enticed by a ball going out and tried to nick it. Those things happen. He's human. He can do it. What I'm finding, which is very different to the previous Virats, is that he's very tentative. It is not the Virat Kohli that I know. His I think 12, 13 balls stay so far, combining both innings. Not for a delivery or two is looked short, even in defense or even in anything. And what that tells me, there could only be two factors behind it. One, I think the fact that he's not playing international cricket regularly, he's let go of all formats, that he's coming back into the international arena after 200 plus days. It can't be easy, no matter how good you are, no matter how many net sessions you've had. So you need game time to get that back into confidence. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this would be the longest international break that he would have had ever throughout his career, right? So he's, no matter what, different formats were changing, but throughout his decade-long career, he would keep coming back and playing some format. So it kept him in the groove, in the loop. Here, 200 plus days of no international cricket, and then to come out and play, I think that is taken its toll. Secondly, no matter how confident he is, no matter how strong-headed he is not immune to the talk as well. And for the very first time, he's been put under pressure in his place for the ODI team. Yeah. It's never happened in his career, right? Okay, T20 cricket, there was a bit of talk, he knew that. And he tried to change his game and so. But here, all his life, he's like, I'm the master of this format. I'm actually the template. I'm actually the person that everyone wants to emulate and follow. And I am deciding what is ODI cricket. Dare I say, I am Mr. ODI cricket. For him to be even questioned, and even though I thought that was unfair criticism, but just to be questioning that should he play, is he part of the team, should he play the 2027 World Cup, I think that's also, for the very first time, must be a jolt for him, played on his mind. So his long gap, add to that this surround sound that is coming with his plays. I think that has made him a bit uncomfortable, a bit tentative, a bit out of character, and that's what has resulted in him getting out. Virat Kohli can't forget how to play cricket, right? Virat Kohli in a batter for 4-5 months, and he was even playing the IPL where he was one of the standout performers, so playing against the top bowler. So he can't just overnight, forget everything.
Go back in time, the Champions Trophy. Yeah, he had a couple of failures, but he had a good 80 against Australia. He had 100 against Pakistan.
No, he's was not the highest run getter.
Yeah, he's not forgotten how to play cricket. But I see, there's two things which always come to mind. One is that I think that off-stump thing is bothering him way more than he lets on. Because the more I watch him bat, the more I feel like if you switch out the color of their jerseys, make them white, switch out the color of the ball and make them red, it's test number 2 to 5 of the BGT all over again. Just constant unsurety, tentativeness. This is not Kohli. This is not that Kohli. And people always talk about, that he's someone who had like beast level numbers if you go from 2016 to 19 across formats. We also tend to forget that time, even though he was taking breaks from in between series, he was still playing all formats, which meant that he was playing cricket of 365 days. There's cricket at least 200 odd days a year. He was playing cricket. He's now coming off a break of 200 odd days. That's going to make a difference. And again, you can say that, okay, maybe he could have played some cricket in the build-up. Maybe he could have played the A series, which was against Australia. Sure, different conditions. Those were at home. But it would have given him match practice. That may have helped out a little bit. Who knows? Because here you're faced up against tough bowling conditions. And you're facing up against the tough bowling conditions, looking tentative, and then, more importantly, getting out. What's worse is, and I was just going through his balls, the 4 deliveries he faced, Bartlett actually set him up. The first ball was one that was outside off, moved away slightly. He left it alone. Second one, again outside off. He nudges it and it goes straight to the fielder. No run. After that, once again outside off, he lets it be. Fourth ball, he gets one to come back in. That's the classic setup. And okay, look, it's a good ball, but this is Xavier Bartlett we're talking about. This is not, he didn't get affected by Hazelwood or a Cummins, who of course is not playing, or a Stark. This is not some top level bowler who set him up. It's Xavier Bartlett, a good bowler, not a great bowler. If a Bartlett can get into his head this easily, then that's a concern.
By the way, just to point out, since you're talking about Bartlett, one of our politicians who's quite a big fan of cricket, he often tweets about it.
I can guess who.
So he put a tweet out where he said that, see how Bartlett has done so well with the ball, and guess what, India is not playing Kuldeep Yadav. If you ever needed any evidence, and I can see that you're confused, right?
Yeah.
What is the guy? That's because, which I later realized, I think he was talking about Xavier Doherty, who's a spinner, and he probably confused Bartlett to Doherty.
Oh dear.
Probably, see, this is what happens when you see a scorecard.
Yeah.
When you haven't seen the match, you see the scorecard and you see, oh, who's the one who's wrecking havoc? Oh, this is Xavier Bartlett. And what it rings, and yeah, it can happen. You can confuse name. And oh, Xavier, isn't it that spinner? Yeah, it is that finger spinner. Correct. See, if India could have played Kuldeep, and so that tweet is put out without realizing that it is not.
It's not Xavier Doherty, it's Xavier Bartlett, the medium pacer.
Correct. So just that you mentioned that name. I in fact clarified it on Twitter. I put a old tweet, and because a lot of people were confused after reading that. So was I, as to why did he have to take the example of Bartlett and say that, see, Kuldeep should have played. And I was wondering why. And then I realized, he may be talking about the other Xavier.
Doherty.
Yeah, and so that's what happened.
Oh Lord, that's the kind of mix-ups that unfortunately can happen to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially if you're only going scorecard, then yes.
Yeah.
Also worried about this.
No, that's okay. We've trolled him enough now. Nana Patekar saying that he will. Okay, Rohit Sharma.
Loved watching that innings. Welcome knock from him. Because again, see, even I was worried early on because you saw Gill go tricky sort of a service. And by the way, big shout out to Josh Hazelwood, probably the unluckiest man today. He was bowling like a man possessed.
I won't want to see the replays of that. That particular review that they did, where there was a bat sound and he's given not out. If you look at it from a straight on angle and take the close up slow-mo, ball is nowhere near the bat.
Yeah.
And that spike comes. Now we all know that the spike can come from anything. And then they obviously don't go to ball tracking because once the sound of the bat has come, they don't review it. But I think he can consider himself lucky to begin with. But then, as I said, sometimes batters get raw end of the stick as well. So, when you get that, there are certain times you ride your luck. Couple of times, he was lucky and Hazelwood was troubling him. Hazelwood was troubling Shreyas Iyer as well. to begin with. It wasn't easy for him. But kudos to both Iyer and Rohit Sharma. And see, I think this is what you needed to do on this pitch. That's why I keep saying template, ODI template. Don't go to any template. Don't start going to thinking that, oh, this is how you need to bat, this is how you need to bat. Listen, every different place you'll have to adapt and bat differently. I think this was the pitch where you needed to be careful to begin with. Bide your time in the first hour. Ensure that the damage is minimum. You lose the least amount of wickets. After that, once you've spent some time, then you go all out attacking. And I think that happened by default to India. They lost those 2 quick wickets. I think that's when they reconfigured. And I think Rohit also realized that you need to take your time on this pitch. And later runs will come. And that has led them to a total where at least they can make a match out of it. Winning or losing is another thing. Otherwise, if you had continued with your aggressive batting mindset that this is how you want to play on a pitch like this, probably you were looking at 200, not even 200. All out, who knows what could have happened. So I think they changed their approach. And again, for Rohit Sharma, I think it is again a much needed knock, and that then reiterates that fact, because a lot of people will talk about being rusty, not spending time. What Rohit showed today, that class is permanent, and that sooner or later these batters will be. Now you see the guys who are playing regular cricket in a Shubman also not getting you too many runs, or a KL not getting you too many runs so far in the 2 matches. It can happen. That's what I'm saying. So every knock, if you're going to be assessing them, I think it's unfair. You need to give them a full season or so, both Rohit and Virat. And eventually I think they're good enough batters to, things will even out. They will get their match winning knocks in that period. But every match now, if you're going to look at it through magnifying glass, I think it will be unfair. And as I said, a lot of pressure off Rohit Sharma. Suddenly, this one knock takes the pressure off you. You can play a normal cricket going.
And that's what I think even Kohli needed. He needed this one knock. But that one knock that reminds you that, listen, muscle memory is still there. But it's one thing knowing you can do it, and it's another thing actually doing it. We know Rohit can perform. But now that he's gone out there and done it, suddenly there's no noise around him anymore. No noise whatsoever, and he eased himself into it. First half an hour, I think he was hanging on for his life. As you say, that LBW was very contentious, could have gone both ways. At times, I remember this, he played out 2 maidens to Hazelwood. 2 maidens to Hazelwood in the start. So he was definitely not looking to take a risk, and Hazelwood was breathing fire. I don't blame him. Perfectly good approach. But then upped the ante when he finally got set and realized, okay, the pitch is eased out a bit now. I can play my strokes. Unlucky to miss out on 100, but at that point he was looking to go gung-ho. No problem with that. 73 very crucial runs in that regard. That being said, yes, I think there will be, now that we always bundle them together, right? It's always Roko's return. Now I don't think there's that much focus on Rohit anymore. Now, even if he next match doesn't do well, you can still point and say that, look, he had one good knock. There's still something there.
In a series where, by and large, your batting has been struggling.
Exactly.
So I think had it been a very high-scoring series where everyone was getting runs and then Rohit just gets one and then you're like, alright, everyone got runs. He's still, not really up to the mark. Anyway, we've got a few questions. Naveen Narayan says, Rana will be 10 times more expensive in his bowling. But as I said, I agree on that front, not on you predicting what he's going to be, but on that front that eventually he's going to be judged by his bowling.
True.
But he did show some good signs with the bat today. I always knew he can hit it. He's a big hitter, but today also showed
that
finesse.
Late cut of
finesse.
Zampa. I was almost saying Bartlett and Doherty. I think my mind's also been scrambled.
Yeah. Naveen wants to know, are we scared to talk about Gill's performance? But
no.
Why should we be scared of
No one. There's no reason to be scared.
Does Gill have your number? Will he call you up?
Shane bhai, ye kya hai? No one's scared. The thing is, Naveen, I think there's more focus on the veterans. But yeah, so far 2 matches now and Gill is not done.
But again, Gill's also been your consistent performer in ODIs.
True.
I think the doubts, if ever there was, in T20 cricket, should he be ahead of Jaiswal or not? But I don't think every 2 matches, 3 matches, you're going to be judging them. I think just as Roko are being judged in the long term, I think so is Shubman Gill the captain in the long term.
So. Absolutely. And Naveen being rather unfair and saying that Gill and Babar will compete for being flat track bullies. Nah. Let's not go that far. A bit unfair.
And I think Gill's a much better bat than
not just aesthetically, in terms of even his performances.
Yeah. Naveen doesn't like him, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. B2 says, Nikhil sir, don't you think it's unfair on KL to always ask him to do the dirty job? He is a solid middle order bat who can give you 70s and 80s regularly at 5. Yeah, what do you make of that?
I understand
Now it's 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I understand where it comes from.
He's batting below Akshar Patel.
Because you need that left-hander again. Again, that same thing you've come down to, that your batting is...
So then after, there is Virat who's a right-hander, there's Rohit who's a right-hander, there's Shreyas who's a right-hander. Then why don't any of them get compromised? And Akshar comes ahead of them.
KL has always been the unfortunate
Pushed
one.
around.
Always. I mean, early in his career also, he didn't open for ages because, again, you had Rohit and Shikhar. Now he's finally getting a run to open in tests. But in ODIs, he found a good niche for himself, saying, no, I'm a good number 5 batter. 2 matches on the trot now, he's coming into bat number 6. He's someone his best numbers come at 5. His best numbers have always been there. So it's a bit unfair, really unfair.
Yeah, I mean, trophy, he was also one of your crucial cogs in the wheel.
ODI World Cup 23 as well.
Great that he has shown. True. He still got it. I'm not surprised.
Not surprised, but good to show that he got that knock.
Correct. Agreed. And those 2, 6s that he hit, oh my God.
Trademark Rohit Sharma. Absolutely.
Rajiv also says Gill's a frat track.
See, I understand where the criticism comes from. I do get it. But I think he's also very harshly targeted. Less so than a HARSHIT Rana.
I think his knock in the Melbourne Test match and tough conditions, that 100 that he got, which helped India draw that match. Not easy conditions, very tough. Again, we talk about the Gabba knock that he played, 21. So, Priyanshu says, Nikhil sir, we should back this entire ODI batting lineup. Rohit, Gill, Virat, Iyer, Hardik, Akshar. No point after every match. I absolutely agree with Priyanshu. Completely agree with you.
Also, we keep talking about our all-rounder thing. We forget that a Hardik is not there. You slot in a Hardik for a Nitish Reddy and suddenly both your batting and bowling just several notches up. And that's no disrespect to Nitish. It's just a compliment to what Hardik brings to that team, the white ball side.
True. Anshu says, Nikhil sir, Hazelwood, what a giant machine. He's always in rhythm. Looks like he will dismiss Rohit 4-5 times today. What a legend he is across the format. Stark is more of a rhythm bowler and will retire as the greatest. True.
Absolutely.
Bang on the money. McGrath 2.0. Hazelwood.
Oof. The metronomic accuracy constantly there. You know it's coming there. Good luck. It's like Iron Robin on the left foot. He'll cut it. But good luck saving those shots.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, Nashley, contrarian view he has. He says India has to test and ease in Jaiswal in the ODI side. Can't bring him in right before the World Cup if the situation arises. I think you're right. I mean, you would want to give him a game or 2. Maybe once this batting lineup, which is also not firing on all cylinders, kind of settles down, you've got a few runs, maybe then you can think of experimenting.
And maybe at home. Because you've got 2 series after this. You've got South Africa and New Zealand, both at home series. There you might decide that, okay, third ODI if it's a dead rubber, or if you need to rest Rohit.
No, Rohit can play because Rohit, you'd want to see him.
Rest a Gill.
Gill can rest as captain. Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Final comment.
From Rakesh Bhushan. Gill was not your automatic choice for 11 in ODIs. Here you made him captain. He's not delivering from bat. Now is his team winning? No, I think he was an automatic choice in ODIs.
He was, of course.
T20s, no.
Yeah.
ODIs, yes.
He and Rohit were your openers consistently.
Yeah, and they have been since 23 types.
Where he had dengue and then he came back.
Came back to the team, yes. Champions Trophy as well, he was there. He wasn't in T20s. I remember the World Cup, he was only a travelling reserve, if memory serves me right. But
absolutely.
ODIs, you can't say that. No.
Yeah.
Bit unfair.
Yep. Okay, we'll take your leave. See you post-match. Look forward to your company. That's where we'll have the longer discussion, in depth. Bye-bye. Take care.